All right, so what I did was prepped everything. I've got the tools. The first thing I'm gonna need is 8mm socket, turkey pan for the oil. Now I decided not to do empty the oil out, drain the oil. What I really wanted to do was just see if I could take this case off and to see if the oil was going to be there. I have pre-broken this a little bit. Everything has to be done in a star pattern. I did notice no oil leak, so don't really need the turkey pan. So I get the plates out. Okay, what I find interesting, I pull this off, we got a clutch. First thing I notice, besides the burnt clutch, is I don't have any gasket material. At least none that I can feel. I look there, looks like I still may have a gasket. So yeah, I guess the gasket's on there. I don't know, maybe it has a gasket, maybe it doesn't. It's on there good. There's no gasket material here, so this should mate back up. Now we need a 5mm. It says do this in quarter turns, so in a star pattern. Really looks bad. All of this outside is not a friendly color. All right, all that's out. We should be able to slide this guy out. Yep. All right. Look at that thing. That is so burnt. Bearing feels good, as I would expect it to. All right, so off to the side now. Dirtier part. Friction plates. We have 10 of these friction plates, and then there's one skinnier one at the end. So we end up with 10 of these, 10 steels, and then the oddball, and 2 washers. This is so black, I'm not even going to bother looking at measuring it. I can see on the one side here, I don't know if you can see how it looks here. Basically though, here it's almost smooth. Here feels like brand new almost, but you can see the color is crap. This is more close to the color it should be, this silver. It looks like wrong tool. Now the steels also should be a nice color. There is a little discoloring on these, but they're very, very dark. So, and with that discoloration, I mean, that might be able to be cleaned up, but yeah, it's got too much dark in here. I could measure this too and see if it's up to spec. Now, one of the things, a problem I have, and I'll show it to you here. Now, you can see that it says 2.75 millimeters for both. One is in the American notation and one is in the European notation with the commas. Now, what I don't get is how this steel plate, and how if this had a full friction, like maybe this one's better to show. Yeah, this friction plate has both of these. Both sides look pretty good. This one probably would pass the test, but again, it's burnt. I'm just gonna replace the whole thing. So back to the measuring though. I will measure these. just for giggles. I'll measure 1 or 2. Well, actually I won't, because of the 2.75 thing. I don't know. I got to get that corrected. I don't know, call a service place, get on the forums, whatever. So let's get into tearing this thing down. So you should be fine. No. This helps. Magnetic tool. Grab those plates. Should grab. Seems to be grabbing 2 at a time. Both the steel and the fiber. Made me a little. That is there though. Here we go. To the next section, and that is lockpicking tools from when I was a criminal. I used to pick safes in banks. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that stuff about the bank. I might get a visit. I'm a cop with an Aprilia. So it's a little more difficult. More than a couple in there. Don't be too big to get in there now. Okay, so there's our small one. I don't think you really have to replace these washers, so I haven't decided if I want to or not. But what I do want to do, in case you're just replacing seals, or friction rather, I do want to pull that out and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so this one is a regular washer. It's completely flat, as far as I know. So, the next will be, I think it's called the Belleville washer. And the difference with it is it has kind of a coned shape to it. So it's rounded on one side, flat on the other.
The magnet help?
I put the magnet in there, however, it's too deep and the outside edge of the magnet won't work. If I had one of those antenna magnets with the ends on it that are small, that would work better. Okay, well, I got it up here. There we go. All right. So if I read correctly, when you do reassemble, which I'll show too, is the rounded edge here. You can't see it, you can feel it. The rounded part is supposed to go towards the bike when you reassemble it. Okay, so that's the inside. It looks pretty good. Feel around in a couple of spots. Yep, good. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's any damage in there. And it looks fairly clean, so I think we just replace the steels and the frictions and we'll be just fine. All right, let's get on to the next step here. Get this out of the way. I did not buy new clutch plates. Why would I not buy new clutch plates? Because I don't make $1 million a year, and I priced it out. The steels are like $17.80. So to replace the steels, that's, you know, $178. And then to replace the friction plates, that's where things start to get insane. $68 a pop. But if you're watching this, you probably already know that. So what I did is I went on eBay and hello, 200 bucks. $199. And this is a used clutch. This whole setup here, if it were new and you had to buy all these pieces, is way over $2,000. If you just bought all these clutch plates, you can add up the math there. It's like 800, 900, I don't know, 700. You do the math. So, okay, we have a used clutch, but it looks pretty good. And we just need to take all these out and we'll start putting them in the oil. All right, I got all of these out, and then I noticed something really interesting here. All right, I have to get up here. Let me get back here and see if you can see this. You see the made by, and then Adler something or other, and it's made for Ducati. This is supposed to be an Aprilia clutch. Interesting. We'll see if it works. I double checked against the bike. This still fits, so I'm assuming that at some point in the not too distant past, Ducati and Aprilia may have had the same clutch transmission. I don't know. Maybe. This goes back into its box. Thank you, eBay. And thank you to the fine people at c3cycle.com. And I believe they're in Westchester or Winchester, Virginia. My old stomping grounds. And I am losing some bearings to shove back in there. Put this in here. And maybe I can put that back on eBay. Somebody else might really need it. And I can pay that forward a little bit. All right, now we're going to inspect these pieces. This is that beveled washer that I was talking about. Another interesting thing with this clutch, it didn't have that other washer, and I don't really know why. Because it should have this washer and then another washer right behind it that's flat. This is the curved one. So it is what it is. Now, for the friction plates, I'm just going to go around and inspect each one and put those in my paper plate. Steels, I don't need to oil those up. At least I don't think so. Yeah, another thing too, maybe somebody can tell me, this notch here, I'm not sure what you line up with that. This clutch didn't have anything aligned with it. I know there is an alignment mark on the front of the I don't know, the pressure plate. I guess that's what that is. There's a notch, an arrow right there. Not sure exactly what that is for. Might have to go look at the manual, shop manual again. All right, so let me inspect all these. And it's probably going to take even more than that. And if you want to know what kind of oil I use, I don't like to advertise for big oil. You don't have to, but it's the Shell Advanced. It's the exact same stuff that the Ducatis use, but it just doesn't say Ducati, so you save $5 a quart. $12.99 at AutoZone. Now let's just get all these raised, and so we can get all that oil, all that good, delicious oil. It's all synthetic, so I can't thank the dinosaurs for it. All right, so this looks like they're getting plenty of oil on them. Yeah, I think I just wasted this oil. Okay, now we got to let this marinate before we put it on the stove. You can see the oil level isn't quite there, so we go back to our Svedka and put that in here, and look at that. Magically we have more oil, and I'm getting some underneath the plastic, which is going to make cleanup more difficult, and the cake is going to taste funny. All right, be right back. All right, current status, friction plates marinating. Steels are taken out, ready for checking them. Springs are ready for measurements. Everything is ready to measure. After pulling off my original, this is not the pressure plate, thrust plate, I don't know. The bearing in here is perfect. When I checked the bearing on the other one, which I put back in the box, it's questionable. It probably worked just fine, but I'll choose the smoother bearing with a dirtier plate, because I tried a couple things, put some WD-40 on there, scratched it up a little bit, and still not getting anything. Now, I did do a little research, and I will give you some screenshots on that, but you can see a couple questions I had after looking at all this. You see there's a notch on the steels here. Every single one of them has that notch. I could not find anything in the shop manual about that, right? And I checked when I was disassembling the other the eBay clutch. These are just haphazard. There's no rhyme or reason to where they're at, apparently. And I think I can pick up a pattern on something that small. So, why are those there? I don't know. There's a marking on here that I thought it would align with right there, but it's not. Like I said, they're in there haphazard. I think just because I'm a little anal, I'll probably put them all back with that particular notch cut out of there. The other thing is there is a notch on the, let me show you over here. This, okay, this guy here, there is a notch somewhere that shows you where to align this arrow. See if I can find, there it is. I've got a better shot on my bike, but this is on the used one. You can barely see that. Let's see if we got a good picture of that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so that's where that alignment mark goes. Little tip from your Uncle Larry. You gotta be old if you understand that joke. All right, so the next thing is, ta-da. Now I told you that the friction plates and the steels, they had a funky measurement thing. So I'm not gonna bother with that. I decided to replace everything. Now I do wanna check the steels to see if there's any warping in them. So I've already done that. You can see this feels good. The tolerance on this is, what was it, 0.20 or just 0.2 millimeters. This particular feeler gauge is 0.203. So this is a little thicker than the tolerance. So I should be able to, it said check in 4 spots. Boom, boom, boom. Oh. Boom. Wait, that's coming up. Wait, that's me. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. Honestly. Let's try that. That's probably, I don't know. Boom, boom, boom. No pressure on it. Boom. Okay. That's probably the best way to measure it. I'll measure the rest of these. Actually, I'm not going to measure them. I'm just going to use them. So that's a lie. You should measure them though. Okay, next thing we got to measure. Springs. I have the old ones. I have the used ones. Now, this is what I pulled off the bike. I've already measured these, but I found something odd. The measurement on the computer, I think, is 0.69. Like 0.6902. I don't know. I'll put it up on the screen. I measured every single one of them, and they're within a couple of thousandths of one another. But you can see I got 61.2 on average on all these springs. So that's not 69. 69. Out of the used clutch though, I get an extra millimeter. I've got 63. Yeah, I've got 63, a little over 63. The other ones I measured under, you know, a little, or 62. This is 63. So guess what? I'm going to use these. Why? Because it's Italian and it might take me 6 months to get the springs. I will try to locate them, and it should be a half an hour job to pull them out, put new ones. Day 2. The friction plate's soaked overnight. Everything's ready to go for reassembly, I think. I'm going to end up having to change the oil. I probably would have done it anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and change it since everything's off. There's only 1,000 miles on this, but the oil is toast because of how burnt it is. Now we got to get that first friction plate that is a different size, which I honestly don't know where it is after. Oh, there it is. Got lucky. Okay. All right, so we just glue these in. Friction, steel, friction, steel, friction, steel. All right, so I found a little notch. I've got a photograph, and I'll show you that some other way. So line up that notch. Okay, I'm not going to make a separate oil change video, but I am going to change this. You have to remove this belly pan engine guard. That's not an engine guard really, because it's all plastic. I guess it would help a little bit, but more of a belly pan. So we have a screw here. We have one here, and we have one right here. And the same on the other side. So you got these 6 screws. Remove the belly pan, set it aside, and then we'll start draining the oil and then take the filter off. Okay, the belly pan is now off. And we have to take the drain bolt out for drain the oil. That's this guy right here. And he is a 22 millimeter. So I'll go ahead and drain that oil, then I'll show you how to get the filter off. This oil filter is a pain. Make sure you do not buy the CarQuest or Purelator one, because it's really tall. And so I don't really think it's made for this motorcycle. I have used it. The first time I changed it, oil filter is ready to come off. HF 565. Like I said, don't use the CarQuest or Purelator one. I think it's CarQuest, even though it'll say it'll work, because it's just too long. Fresh, clean oil to prep your rubber seal on your oil filter. Some people put some oil in there to prime it. I don't. Plug going in. Final tightening on the filter, I just do by hand. Okay, I'm going to put 3 liters of oil in this thing, and then we'll see, we'll check the gauge. I went ahead and put it on the stand so that I can check the oil properly, and it's going to have the added benefit of letting me go through all the gears without having to go outside and do an early check. All right, we got everything in here. We got the cap back on. Everything is pretty much done except for the belly pan has not been reinstalled, and I'll do that after I make sure I haven't screwed anything else up. So hopefully all is well. We got a clutch in here. Here we go. Back ends up so it won't lurch forward. Put her in neutral. So in neutral, nice. And here we go. Adjustments, hopefully. So let's go through some gears, see what happens. All right, here we go. Yep.
What was that?
I don't know, but I heard it and it did not sound good. Okay, so it's warmed up enough. I don't know if I'm going to keep the previous thing on there, but I'll tell you about it later. Let's go ahead and start it again. Put her back in neutral. And fire up. Clutch in. First gear time. Okay, we got first gear. Second gear. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. And now clutch out. 6, 5, clutch out. Good. 4. Looks like it's working, but I heard some noises in some of the higher gears. That's a machine. I'm pretty sure the noise I heard, you may have heard it too, is just the chain, because it's only doing it in 5th and 6th gears.
Maybe
I'll do a
because
road
it's on
test
the
on it
stand, yeah.
later.